Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery podcast, the place for scrappy entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran and former brick-and-mortar boutique owner who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. It's that time of year again. Shopify Winter Edition released last week, which brings 150 updates to the Shopify platform. Today, we're diving into some of the most exciting ones, but I recommend you check out the full release page for all of the details. You can get the full show notes for this episode at ecommercebadassery.com/309. Since I've been nerding out with this, especially with the release of my Shopify Secrets course, let's get started with some product organization updates. The first thing we're going to cover is something we've been talking about over the last few Shopify update podcasts, and that is category meta fields. These are now available for storefront filtering. In case you forgot, category meta fields are added automatically by Shopify when you add a new product, and it's what is used to calculate your tax rates. This is separate from the product type, which is for your own internal organization. When they were first announced, I was super excited about them. Then they were released, and I was underwhelmed because you couldn't really do anything with them. And now, here we are, actually making them functional, which is super exciting. When you're creating filters in the Shopify Search and Discovery app, these category meta fields will appear in the list. They're also labeled as category meta fields, so they should be pretty easy to spot. Another fun product organization update, using product attributes as conditions in your smart collections. And your smart collections are just what used to be called automated collections. And the product attributes are your variant values. So your colors, your flavors, your sizes, etc. They also made a bunch of updates to the product bundle feature. Shopify's product bundles now work with Shopify POS. And they're going to appear as a nested group of line items in checkout and in Shopify's notification email. So instead of just saying bestseller bundle, it's actually going to show the individual items that are included in that bundle. That's just a nice way to help the customer verify what they're buying and reinforce that in the emails. One quick note about the Shopify notification emails. If you've ever customized them, the new liquid that renders the bundles is not going to be included in your notification template. So you can do one of two things. You can either revert back to the default and then edit them again, or you can add the liquid code for the bundles update. I'll put a link in the show notes that'll take you right to that documentation, just in case this is something that you have to deal with. There's also going to be more accurate reporting for bundles, which is part of the new Shopify Analytics, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. In addition to bundles, they've made updates to the subscription functionality, and one of the most important ones is the Shopify subscription app now respects your inventory settings when renewing subscriptions. So it will restrict new orders if a product is out of stock. Now, running out of a subscription product, that is pretty much a no-no. So I hope if that does happen to you, it doesn't happen often. And depending upon your general lead time, you may want to consider just letting that subscription go through and overselling if you know that you can get it to the customer in a reasonable amount of time. But if you just want it to decline orders, you'll be able to do that. Subscriptions also now work with the buy X, get Y discount. So this could be a fun way to incentivize first-time subscriptions. Maybe you offer a free gift or a discount off of a one-time purchase of your bestseller or something like that. Some other fun product updates include your filters will now sync over to the Shop app. And for my Plus stores, if you're using combined listings, you now have the option to choose how those combined listings appear in search results. So you can choose both the parent and the child, the children only, or the parent only. Shopify has also made a number of updates in terms of customer experience and marketing, starting with customer accounts. Early in 2023, Shopify released the new customer accounts functionality, and that is separate from classic customer accounts. While they were a bit limited in terms of customization compared to the classic accounts, they are rolling out new features. And the newest release is customer account extensions. These are essentially widgets that you can embed in the customer account pages. For example, you can show the customer how many loyalty points they earned with their order. You can add subscription details to their order page when they're logged into their account, so it'll show when their next order is coming. You can also put a write a new review action on the order page as well. So if they're signed into their account and they see all their previous orders, you can have an action show up that says write a review. These are added through your theme customizer, and the options available to you will appear based on the apps you use in your store. After a quick glance, it does look like certain apps are going to limit which extensions are available to you depending on the tier you pay for. So, for example, Smile, the loyalty app, requires an upgrade. Maybe it's just to the first paid plan, but I was on my development store, so it was just the free one, and it said I couldn't add any. Another cool feature update for customer accounts is the ability to add custom links to the navigation menu. By default, the navigation when they're inside the account includes their profile and the orders they've placed, but you could add an additional link for them to manage their subscription. Ultimately, I recommend you just navigate to your customer account pages in your theme customizer. So you're going to go to edit your theme, and then on the top drop down, it defaults you to the home page. Click that and you'll see, I think it just says customer accounts. And then when you're in there, on the left-hand menu, you have the three icons. It's the sections, the settings, and the apps. Click the apps, and then that will bring up a list of all of the extensions you have available to add into your store. If you're still using classic customer accounts, that's likely because the new customer accounts were lacking in features, right? And they didn't integrate with things like subscriptions and things like that. This might be the update you need. No guarantees because I have no idea how custom your accounts are right now. I know you can do a ton more in the classic accounts because you actually have access to sections and HTML and those sorts of things, but it's worth it for you to take a peek and see if this will fit your needs because the new customer accounts do have some unique features like store credits and easier returns and things like that. Similar to the customer account extensions is the Shopify Checkout Blocks app. This app makes it easy to edit your checkout, thank you, and order status page. Just like the customer account extensions, these are widgets that you can put on these pages, for example, showing the customer how many loyalty points they earned in that order. This was originally only released for Plus stores, but it has been rolled out to all plans. In my testing, though, it seems that non-Plus stores can only edit the thank you and order status page, where the checkout edits are still reserved for Plus plans. It works the same way as the customer account extensions. You'll edit them through your theme customizer on the apps menu. The options you have are specific to the apps you have installed in your store, and it's up to the app developer what they make available to you based on your plan with them. Again, I recommend you just pop in there and see what's available to you. Another new feature they rolled out is new customer RFM segments. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary. You've probably heard me refer to them as lifecycle segments. Unlike lifecycle segments for email marketing that focus on their engagement with your emails, have they opened, have they clicked, etc., these are focused specifically on their purchasing behavior. So any customer who's in your Shopify account but hasn't placed an order, they are a prospect, and you don't start hitting any of these other segments until they make a purchase. I'm not going to go through all the details of the conditions and what to do with these groups today, but I'll stick a link in the show notes to Shopify's documentation that breaks it all down for you, what conditions they use to group them this way, and they give you some recommendations for how to treat this segment of customers. This is a really exciting update and proof that Shopify is invested in continuing to update their email product. And there's some other updates that they rolled out in this edition too. I continue to be impressed with Shopify's email upgrades. While I can't say it's a replacement for something as sophisticated as Klaviyo, I can say it's a viable option for lower volume stores or anyone who is considering or currently using Flowdesk because it's so cheap. Please don't use that. Use Shopify email instead. Some of the new features they rolled out include custom UTM parameters, the ability to trigger flows when someone joins or leaves a segment, in-email image editing, such as cropping and resizing, and they also have a new section that's a countdown timer. That'll be great, obviously, for sales and sending those last chance emails. The last marketing update we're going to talk about today is shop campaigns. While Shopify audiences are still exclusive to Plus users, shop campaigns have been rolled out to all plans. In addition to running traditional shop ad campaigns, you can also specifically target, say, lapsed customers based on their last order date, and you can expand your shop campaigns to Google Shopping. There are some other fun ad updates like using customer segments with your Google ads, but make sure you check the full winter editions page for all of those little nuances. All right, let's hop into some operational updates. The first being the new Shopify Analytics. These babies have been on deck for a while, and some stores did have early access, but it sounds like they're officially being rolled out to everyone. They are not available in any of my development stores, and I didn't see any insight into a timeline, but I'm hoping it's in the next couple of months. If memory serves, I feel like they've been teasing us about these for a really long time. So where are they? Once they're out and I've had some time to explore them, we're going to talk about it again on the podcast. But for now, just keep your eyes peeled. Another update they've been teasing us about for a really long time, but finally seems to be here, is Sidekick, your store's AI assistant. I don't remember if it was initially only rolling out to certain plans or what, but I feel like we've been waiting for this forever. But now when you're in your Shopify admin, you should see a new icon between the search bar and the notification bell in that very top banner. That is your Sidekick. I see it in some of my development stores, but not all of them, so it seems like it's rolling out right now. Like the bot you use to search Shopify's documentation, this bot is trained on and can take action in your store specifically. For example, I used it to update the meta title and description for one of the products in my store. In addition to recommending the content, it directly updated the listing itself. Yes, I was able to review it before it actually saved, but it typed it in for me. When I was on the analytics page, also looking for the new analytics, the bot told me it wasn't trained on my analytics yet. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know if it's because I'm on a development store and I don't have a ton of data, but there are orders and stuff in there. So I don't know. You have to experiment with it. Again, I didn't have much time to experiment with it before I came to record this episode, but I do expect it's going to be handy and I'm excited to keep playing with it. Another really good update is that in the US, you can now automate the preparation, filing, and remittance of your sales tax returns through Shopify Tax. So if you've been using a third-party app for this, you can likely switch this all over to Shopify Tax. I'm sure there's going to be an extra charge for this, but if you're doing it manually right now, I'm sure it's worth whatever they're going to charge you. If you're in the EU or UK, Shopify Tax is now available for you as well. So you can simplify your VAT compliance with automated calculations, liability tracking, reporting, and invoicing. For my brick and mortar stores, there have also been a bunch of POS updates. In addition to bundles now being available on POS, customer meta fields are now integrated with the POS system too. So you can store information about your customers, like their preferred styles, sizes, whatever it is you want to know about them, and they'll sync between your online shop and your POS system. Whether you're using this data to facilitate clienteling in your store or just to send more targeted email campaigns, having that customer data synced across all of your channels is super helpful. Another POS update for my stores that have multiple locations, you can now create location-based customer segments. So if you're using Shopify email and you have multiple POS locations, that's certainly going to come in handy. And then for anyone using Shopify POS at in-person markets, and maybe you have shoddy internet service, you now have an option to collect credit card payments while offline. Now, use this sparingly and at your own risk, because when your POS is offline, it can't actually contact the bank. It's just going to save the information and run the transaction once you have internet again. So it's very possible that when it does go to run the card, it's going to be declined or something like that. And then this person has already walked off with the merchandise. So again, don't count on this heavily, but it could be helpful in a pinch. Now, with 150 updates rolled out this edition, there's no way we could cover them all here, but here's a few other honorable mentions. Role-based staff permissions. This one's super cool. So you can set specific permissions for customer service people, and you can just assign it at the role level. There's new features to help automate the returns process through the Shop app, and then there's some things in Flow that you can do. Tons of performance updates for faster loading times in the admin and at checkout. There's shipping and fulfillment updates, global market updates if you're selling internationally. And if you're using Shopify for wholesale, there's a bunch of updates for the Shopify Collective app and then the B2B functionality that is exclusive to Shopify Plus. And really, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I definitely recommend you take a quick moment to peruse through the entire update, because there may be some things that you want to dive into or implement in Q1. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about all the projects you might want to complete. Well, double check these updates and make sure there aren't any changes that you need to make to that list. If better organizing your store and taking advantage of meta objects, meta fields, and Shopify Flow, especially with some of these updates we just chatted about, if that's on your to-do list, make sure you check out Shopify Secrets. The content for that course is rolling out by the end of January 2025. There's a video on the checkout page, which I linked you to in the show notes, that I walk you through a client website that I did to give you a sneak peek of what's possible with what I'm teaching in that course, so you can figure out if Shopify Secrets makes sense for you. Also, if you're listening to this because you're not on Shopify yet, but you are considering the switch and you want a forever free trial for the platform, check the show notes for a special form link. I have to set the store up for you manually, which is why I ask you to fill out the form, but it gives you unlimited time to set up your store. And then once you're ready to go live, I transfer ownership to you and you're good to go. Don't forget to get the full show notes for this week's episode at ecommercebadassery.com/309. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you are as excited about these updates as I am. Maybe not, because I'm a nerd. It's all good. Enjoy the rest of your holiday season, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about growing your e-commerce business, get started with my free resource library at ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff. and get an invite to The Lounge, my e-commerce marketing membership. When you're ready for one-on-one support, apply to work with me at ecommercebadassray.com/apply. Before you go, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a rating and review and tap that follow button. This pushes me up the chart so I can support more scrappy e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. I'm on a mission to reach as many as I can, and I could really use your help. Thanks so much in advance. Until next time, e-commerce friend, stay badass.